Coach's CatChat. Joe Stewart here with head Linfield football coach Joseph Smith. Coach, how you doing today?
Doing great, thanks.
Let's get into your big 65-0 win against Willamette here at home this weekend. The defense's second shutout in the last 3 weeks. The offense goes for over 500 yards, the season high. But before the game got started, we got to honor 29 seniors. I know some of them still considering whether or not they'll be coming back this year, but some of them were fifth-year seniors and certainly going to be moving on. This group has been through a lot over the course of their careers between COVID, playoff losses, playoff wins, and just what has this group meant to the program, and how have they helped just lead the way as you guys are putting together a pretty incredible season this year?
Yeah, it's quite a senior class. You know, last year we were pretty small in the senior class, although it was a full class, but so many of those guys had that extra COVID year that they came back for, and so we really have two senior classes this year that are pretty melded. But you know, it's such a veteran group, so much playing time in that group, particular up front. You know, the O-line and D-line. It's so nice to have that veteran experience because they're older, they're more physical, but they've also been there, done that. Harder to fool. They're just easier for them to adapt to the novel and stuff like that. So, you know, it's a great leadership group. The team's very steady. You know, it's not a team that gets too high, and it's not a team that really gets low. They're just pretty flatlined, which at first I was worried about. But I guess maybe week 2, week 3, realized, okay, this is who they are. They're pretty steady, and that's who we are.
Let's talk about the depth a little bit. It's a 65-0 ball game. You're going to get a chance to get a lot of guys in the game. I think it seemed like pretty much everybody got to play this last weekend. You had 8 different RBs take snaps, 12 different players caught passes, and of course on defense a whole host of different guys making plays. It's November. You guys are banged up, but so is everybody else. That's just the way the game goes. How key is the depth at this point of the season, and certainly looking towards the postseason as something that can help separate you guys head and shoulders against some of your opponents?
Absolutely. I've always felt like the depth factor takes a little bit of the luck factor with injuries. It reduces that. You know, it gives you a better ability to withstand the attrition that's going to come. And so, yes, we're banged up now, but as you go through a very grueling playoff run where you're playing multiple teams that are in the top 10, or in some cases multiple teams in the top 5, those games take a toll. And even if you win, sometimes you lose. And because of you're usually going to lose 1 to 3 starters around, it seems like, you know, as you get into those games, because the physicality is so much greater because the guys are bigger, stronger, faster. So the hits are bigger and your body, you know, gets hurt. So I think having that depth has we've found been really critical to, you know, if you get into those late rounds, having enough talent left to still be competitive. And so I think we're much deeper up front, which is oftentimes where you see that attrition take place.
On offense, 531 yards of total offense, a season high this year. Hard to believe with some of the high-flying games that you guys have had. But I want to talk about that incredible receiving group. And we kind of skip past them a lot of the times because we just expect them to do great things, and they do pretty much every week. But all 3 of your starters come away with touchdowns. Colton Smith, 6 catches, over 100 yards on a touchdown. Devin Murray, 4 catches, 3 of them were scores. And, of course, Joel Valadez with contributions as well. What is it about that trio, that starting trio, that just gives defenses so many problems week in and week out?
Well, I told them maybe last year this group's got a chance to be one of the finest we've had. You know, very competitive with the 04 group, and certainly the 2014 group was excellent with Poppin and Peterson and Balsiger. But you know, even our 2000 team, those were sort of some of the elite receiving cores we've had, and I thought this group's got a chance to equal that group. They're all, you know, now they have a bunch of experience. You know, what they had last year was just a bunch of talent. Now they have a lot of game experience, so they're able to break guys down. They're very difficult to cover man-to-man, and now they have the savviness to get open against zone, and they're very complete. So they're a very difficult matchup. I'd be very worried, you know, if I was trying to defend them.
And their quarterback, Blake Eaton, with one of his best games of his young career as he throws for 6 touchdowns in that first half, becomes just the 7th Linfield QB ever to throw 6+ touchdowns in a game. What are your thoughts about where he is as we wind down the regular season and get ready to square up with the top teams in the country in a couple of weeks?
Yeah, I'm very, very pleased with Blake. He's been pretty steady, which was maybe one of the concerns with a young quarterback. Just the inconsistency of play typically is what you get with a youngster. But he's been pretty consistent, and he's tried to stay within himself, and which I think has probably led to that. There's just so much talent around him. He doesn't have to do everything, to get outside of his talents, and just needs to take the reads and go through that, and he's getting better. I think sometimes the stats don't show the decision making just because of whatever, for whatever reasons. I don't want to get into that, but he's really doing better and better, and I'm very pleased with him.
Yeah, and the accuracy in particular has been great. He's had, I think, 6 games in a row now, over 70% completion rate, and just getting better and better each week. But on defense, I mentioned it a moment ago, but the 3rd shutout in the last 2 weeks, that's pretty impressive right there. And if you throw out that Huntington game to open the season, they've now allowed just 184 yards per game. What makes that group so special? And is this a case of kind of peaking and gelling at the right time, as, again, this is another group that just seems to be getting better each week?
In all fairness, I mean, I don't know that our conference maybe has been as strong as it has been, in years past. And I think our coaches would all echo that. I just don't think there's as much talent this year, maybe because of COVID. I'm not sure exactly, but so some of that might be just the level of competition. But needless to say, our defense is playing very well, and I'm really pleased with what they're doing up front. Very pleased with what the linebackers are doing, and the back row is just coming around. And don't want to keep beating a dead horse there, but as those guys develop and get more comfortable and more confident and learn what they can do and when to do it, the sky's the limit for that group. There's a lot of talent, and they're literally going to keep getting better, especially as they see elite receivers. We get into the playoffs and see guys that are their size and their speed. Okay, now they learn to get better and learn what they have to do, when to do it, and so I'm really excited for that group to get to be challenged even a little bit more.
You're going on the road to end the regular season this week, up to Portland at Lewis and Clark. They've been a pretty good offensive team this year, second best offense in the league statistically after you guys. Really great rushing team, but you guys, of course, have had the number 5 rushing defense in the nation this year. What has to be done? We talk about it a lot of times each week, but what has to be done to slow down that run game on their home field and make that offense uncomfortable?
They do a nice job of the RPO game, so their run plays oftentimes have pass options, and and so the theory in that is you can't be right on defense if you stack up against the run. They're able to throw the ball, so you have to be able to be strong against both, or else the other dimension of that is going to attack you. So I think we have to be gap solid. We got to run our assignments well, in terms of our stunts and fit everything correctly, and we have to tackle well. I think tackling needs to continue to be an area of focus for us. It's the difference of winning and losing games is how well you tackle and how many yards does the other team get after contact. And as long as we keep doing our fundamentals, I like our chances.
And I have to say, of course, now with that Willamette win, a share of the conference title. Congratulations on that. I'm sure you guys would like to have it out right here, but the Cats are indeed headed to the national playoffs. They'll have one more regular season game, but the Northwest Conference, at least a share, is clinched, as well as that automatic bid. They'll be at Lewis and Clark this weekend, 1 o'clock kickoff. We'll have live audio coverage for you on the Linfield Sports Network. Coach, good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it.